guys, John Chenge here. Today we are at Murray Bridge, and the reason why I'm here is because the Federation Ultra Trail 50 kilometre event is on in 2 weeks time, so I actually get to do a race with other people rather than doing virtual. So there's a 25k, 75k and a 100k event, but the main one that I'm doing is the 50k. They've got 3 wave starts that allows people to social distance and have a maximum of 50 people per wave. The wave starts are there because we actually run through Monado Zoo. So this event goes from around Monado, finishes in Murray Bridge, and today I'm doing a recce of the last 15k of the course, just so that I don't get lost and I can run it strongly through to the end. So let's get into this run. Okay, so my first impression of the last bit of the course is it's very flat for 6 kilometers, wide bike track, but then I've gone up to the Rocky Hill area, and it's a single track with rocks every 10-20 meters you need to pick your way through. But yeah, it's very gradual climb, and as you can see, that's how much elevation you've got to lose in the next 6-7 kilometers. It's not much at all. Nice and flat to finish off. Of course, the reason why it seems so flat is I've just done a month of going for the steepest hills I could find. So finished the July vert competition. I managed to get 20,000 meters of vert in the month, which worked out at about 365 meters with elevation per 10 kilometers. And I think for this run it's going to be about that much elevation over the whole 50 kilometers. Now, what I found in my month of running hills was, after a few days, become very good at recruiting your glutes, your climbing muscles, so you really feel them getting loaded up. And my goal was to go for elevation that I could run rather than walk, because what I'd found when I'm doing the TRSA V4 series was, whenever it was a steep hill, I would just slow down to a walk straight away whenever it got to about 10% gradient. So I wanted to get out of that habit and get back to running hills. So most of my runs weren't much more than that steepness, so I was able to just settle in and feel the lactic acid build up. So it was very good anaerobic threshold training. You really get to know that feeling of lactic acid building up. And one thing you notice is the residual lactic acid or residual fatigue from the previous hills. So if you run fairly slowly before a steep part of the hill, you've got a bit more time before you get overwhelmed with lactic acid. Yeah, it was quite interesting just playing with the lactic acid all through the month, which made it very tough. Meant that I wasn't able to do as many runs as what I'd like to have done, because I'll be just getting too tired and needed to have time off instead of doing easy runs. So with permission to run on the flat that I've given myself, I'm back at the beach now. So I'm going to do a coastal run today, which is good for getting used to a long flat run, which will be basically what the 50k event is. So less than 2 weeks to go, nothing too difficult, but I need to get used to running flat, because when you're running hills, you're getting used to having a rest when you go down the hills. Okay, so the session is Nice long one from Seacliff out to the Hilly Jetty and back, and I'm doing 4 by 5 kilometres, and the pace I'm doing it at is 3 minutes 50 to 3:55 per kilometre, with 1k recovery at 4:05 to 4:10. So I've done 2. I'll start the third one in a minute and then turn around and head back. And by the end of that session with 5 kilometre repeats, you get pretty tired by the end. Luckily I didn't aim any faster, because it would have been very difficult to hold a pace if I'd aimed any faster with the current shape I'm in. My calves put up pretty sore, so I've had a couple easy days, but I've still got plenty of time to get the body right for the race. Today's run will be a run around Sturt Gorge. Now, Sturt Gorge is a lot of single track, and I think that's going to be the main thing that I find difficult on the day. It's not really the flatness of the course, but the changes in direction. Small turns, adjustments to where you put your feet quite a few times a minute for quite a bit of the course is going to be that single track. So good to get some training in along single track. It can be very tiring just for a few kilometres, and the fact that it's probably about half the course is single track means that need to have done that in training. Luckily the Belair long course had a lot of single tracks, so I've done plenty of that in the first half of the year. So just need to maintain that activation of the agility type muscles that change your direction. So today's run along Sturt Gorge is my last long run before the race, 1 week out, and I like to do an 80-minute long run before a big race like a marathon or an ultra. 80 minutes is pretty short for a long run, but you don't want to be pushing yourself anyway. Usually 2 hours is sort of the minimum you want to be doing for your long runs, because that's where your energy and your muscles starts to run out and start to test that system and build more efficiency with your fueling of your muscles. But week before a race, you just want to be going through the motions and leaving it for race day, testing yourself on race day, not testing yourself in the week leading up. Now, it's not just the course which is going to test me on race day, there's the other competitors. We've got here Sean and Glenn Koopman. They finished first and second in last year's Federation Ultra 50k. They set a course record of 3 hours 50 and 3 hours 51 minutes. Sean also ran Yarrabilla last year in a time of 5 hours and 9 minutes. Now, there's plenty of other people on the start list as well. There's Travis Hickman, he ran 5 hours 24 in last year's Yarrabilla. Got myself, I ran 5 hours 12 minutes in the 2018 Yarrabilla. David Turnbull ran 5 hours 3 minutes in the 2017 Yarrabilla. Also got Nick Muxlow entered. He ran 5 hours 9 minutes for a self-supported Yarrabilla a bit over a month ago. He also won the 2018 Five Peaks Ultramarathon. We've also got Fraser Darcy. He won the 2019 Five Peaks Ultramarathon. So quite a few of us are very even over about a 5 hour event. So there should be quite a few of us going under 4 hours on race day. And speaking of race day, it is now race day. Just like to go through my nutrition for today. I'm planning to be as self-supported as possible for most of it, because requiring to use a hand sanitizer at each of the aid stations, plus overtaking a lot of competitors from the earlier wave starts, means that I'm likely to get held up, so I'd rather just keep running. So what I've planned is 1 litre of cordial in a hydration pack, so hydration vest. Also taking 3 gels. I've got a 4th one in case, but I'm planning on just using 3 for the run, and half a dozen snakes. And that's going to be all my nutrition. The gels provide me with enough electrolytes, I think, but in the second half, from 30k onwards, there's 3 aid stations in the last 20k, and I might grab some chips if I feel like I need some salt. May also use the cold brew coffee, and I'll also be carrying a handheld plastic or rubber type refillable cup, so I'll be able to refill if I require more fluid at that stage. But yeah, pretty much just gels and a bit of fluid to help them go down, with a bit of extra sugar from the snakes, and that's it. Anyway, let's get it done. Okay, so I've just been overtaken by Travis. He was a fair way ahead of me, but he must have taken a wrong turn or stopped or something, because he just passed me again. I'm not in a good way. 35 k's in, went out way too hard. Paying for it now, just jogging in. But yeah, if I want to go under 4 hours, I've got an hour and a half to do 15k, which I should be able to do. Anyway, let's see how we go. Check in a bit later. Okay, so a bit of a race wrap up. You saw at 37k I was catching Travis after being in a bad way at 35k and not liking it at all. He wasn't feeling much better, obviously, because I started to catch him. And you have to excuse the camera. I'm a bit shivery after the run. I'm rugged up, but I'm still shaking after the run, so it's a bit shaky, the camera work here. Anyway, it's quite interesting. The course has a out and back section at 40k, so you can actually see where everyone else is who's nearby, because there's 1k out and 1k back. So you see everyone within about a 2 kilometre stretch. I was about 7 minutes ahead of 7th place, so all the top 7 within about 15 minutes of each other at the 40k mark. So plenty of depth in the field today. I was about 6 minutes behind Fraser. I was in 3rd place. I had dropped further behind Travis at that I stopped at that aid station. I got 2 glasses of Coke and some chips, because I just needed to refuel a bit. But yeah, the way it panned out was I was 3 minutes ahead of 4th place and 30 seconds behind 2nd. So I managed to catch Travis a couple k later, and then I got a bit of a lead ahead of him. But then I fell in a big heap and ended up walking for stretches of the last few kilometres, and it was pretty close finish. I finished in 4 hours 1. Travis finished in 4 hours 1. I managed to get the 2nd place, so that was good. Fraser 3 hours 53 in 1st place, and Sean Koopman 4 hours and 3 minutes in 4th place. And that was the winner from last year. So fairly close finish between a few of us there. I spent a long time trying to move from the start line. From the finish line. I collapsed, I couldn't get up, and then needed some help to stand up. Then I ended up throwing up, and now I'm just waiting in the car for the body to recover a bit. It's been a bit over half an hour and I'm still struggling, but yeah, hopefully we come good soon. Yeah, it took a lot out of me today, with just the pace being way too fast for the start. Travis and Fraser and myself went through first few k's quite quickly. I dropped off by 10k, but I was still sub 40 minutes for the first 10k, which was way too fast for the fitness I had. It makes for a tough event. Anyway, rolled the dice, saw how it went, and eventually come through with 2nd place. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll do another one of these soon. Boy, that hurt. See you next time.